All right, let's just dive right in. Take a look at this. On the left, a scene that's probably a little too familiar, right? It's 11 p.m., you're still at the office, just trying to get through a mountain of clinical notes. But on the right, that's the goal. Heading home at 5 p.m., paperwork all done. I know, it feels like a total fantasy.
But what if it wasn't? Seriously, what if you could actually get back a huge chunk of your week? We're talking about reclaiming 10 hours every single week. What would you even do with that kind of time?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. Welcome to our quick explainer on AI prompting for dentists. Think of it as a new skill that isn't really about tech. It's about getting back your most precious resource, your time.
So first, we have to get real about the problem. I like to call it the documentation trap. And honestly, it's a much bigger deal in dentistry than most people think.
This chart really tells the whole story, doesn't it? You became a dentist for the patient care. That's the 60%. But look at that other slice. A massive 40% of your day is eaten up by documentation and admin tasks. That's, what, 12 hours or more a week spent not with patients, but with a keyboard.
And that huge administrative load? It has a very real, very human cost. That number you see, 54%, that's the percentage of dentists who report feeling burnt out. Yeah. There is a straight line connecting all that paperwork to all that pressure. So you see, this isn't just some minor annoyance. It means less time focusing on your patients. It absolutely demolishes any sense of work-life balance. And, as we just saw, it's a huge driver of professional burnout. It's a real problem that needs a new kind of solution. Okay, so let's talk about that solution. And I really want you to shift how you think about AI. Don't picture some complicated, scary technology. Instead, just think of it as your new AI assistant, one that's incredibly efficient and never needs a coffee break. So AI prompting is just how you talk to that assistant. It's really the art of giving clear, simple instructions so you get back exactly what you need. I mean, think about it. If you can tell a new hygienist what you need, you can definitely learn how to prompt an AI.
And this isn't just theory. Look at these numbers from Dr. Sarah's actual experience. Her daily documentation time was slashed from almost an hour down to just 15 minutes. The time to write a single note went from a few minutes to literally seconds. So what's the bottom line? She got back nearly 3 hours every single week. That's amazing.
All right, you're probably thinking, okay, that's great, but how do I actually do it? Well, that's where the super simple, easy to remember formula comes in. Let's walk through the 4 C's of a perfect prompt. First up is context. You've got to set the scene for the AI. Who's the patient? What's going on? The more background you give it, the more on point and clinically relevant its draft is going to be. Second, we need clarity. You have to be super clear about what you want. Don't just say, write about the appointment. No, say, draft a post-op instruction email for a patient who just got a crown using an empathetic tone. Tell it exactly what you want it to make.
Third, constraints. This is where you lay down the rules of the game. You need the note to be under 150 words? Tell it that. Need it written at a 7th grade reading level for the patient? Add that constraint. This is how you fine-tune the result and get it right on the first shot.
And finally, the most important C for you as a clinician, clinical specificity. This is where you bring your expertise into the mix. You have to include those key dental details, tooth numbers, findings, procedures. This is what turns a generic draft into something that is actually useful for your records.
Okay, so theory's great and all, but let's see what this looks like in the real world. I want to show you a few practical examples that you could literally start using tomorrow. So, picture this. You need to explain a pretty complex procedure. Instead of typing for 10 minutes, you use a quick prompt, and boom! In about 30 seconds, you have a clear, custom explanation written in the perfect tone for that specific patient.
Or how about insurance narratives? Probably the most tedious job on the planet. With a good prompt, you can just feed the AI the clinical facts and have it spit out a perfectly formatted, compelling justification for medical necessity. That's a total game changer.
And hey, it's not just for clinical stuff. You can use this to make your whole practice run smoother. You could draft a quick, clear agenda for your morning huddle to make sure everyone's on the same page and the day gets off to a great start.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. How do I even start without getting totally overwhelmed? The key is to have a simple plan. So here it is, a totally foolproof action plan for your very first week.
It's really this easy. Day 1, just set up an account on a platform like ChatGPT or Claude. Days 2 and 3, pick just one simple prompt and play around with it.
Then, for the rest of the week, use that one prompt for one repetitive task, like a specific type of follow-up email. The goal here is mastery, not variety.
And the reward for that little bit of effort? Just like Dr. Sarah, you could very realistically save over 2.5 hours in your first week. I mean, that's a massive return on such a small investment of your time.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground here, so let's wrap this up and really lock in the most important points from this whole explainer.
Okay, first thing to remember, specificity is everything. The more details you give the AI, the better your results will be. Second, start small. Just master one single task before you try to automate your entire practice. Third, and this is so important, AI is a tool to make you better and faster. It amplifies your expertise. It does not replace it. You are always the final clinical authority. And last but definitely not least, HIPAA compliance is non-negotiable. Never, ever put patient health information into a tool that isn't compliant.
So I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Your skills, your expertise, your relationship with your patients, that's all irreplaceable. So just imagine, what could you really achieve if an AI assistant was there to handle the crushing burden of paperwork? The potential is just enormous.